Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories tonight. The president continues his diplomatic shuttle, makes his first visit to China to canvass more infrastructure partnership for Nigeria. Federal government asks Nigerians to exercise patience, regrets pains of fuel scarcity. Civil servants protest unpaid salaries across the states. And over 100 people are killed in a fire incident at an Indian temple. Remember, you can read up more on our top stories. You'll find them on our websites, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also visit m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device. It's a lot easier when you download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows phones from their respective stores. Now go a step further and interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature in the Channels TV app. If you have pictures or videos you'd like to share with us, tap the application on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu and follow the instructions. Let's take a look at some of the pictures that you sent into our Eyewitness portal. We begin with this one from a service station in Makurdi Plaza in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. It shows this dispensing unit selling petrol at 200 naira per litre. Our Eyewitness reporter calls on regulatory agencies to stop such acts. This photo was sent in from Odessa community in Ibejuleki area of Lagos. It shows what our Eyewitness reporter describes as an illegal fence being put up by an individual attempting to lay claim to some parcels of land. It calls on state authorities to intervene and resolve the matter. Staying in the Ibeju area, this photo shows what another Eyewitness reporter alleges to be a violation of a directive from state authorities to stop this construction work. An Eyewitness reporter claims this building on Road 2 Ogunfayo Street in Iputu area shows imminent signs of collapse. We head on to Imo State, to the Dan Anyam Stadium, where our Eyewitness reporter sent this picture from, calling on concerned authorities to fix portions of the roof which are leaking. A bus stops at Kaduna State, where we see a picture of 3 women sitting in the boot of this vehicle. As it travels along Zaria Road, it looks quite uncomfortable in there. A reporter calls on the Federal Road Safety Corps to stop such dangerous acts. It is unadvisable. Thank you for sending in those pictures. With the economic crunch in the country, the fall in crude oil prices and the resultant dip in revenue accruing to the states, many state governors have been unable to meet up with payments of salaries for civil servants. While some states are owing over 5 months, others are unable to pay between 3 to 4 months or more. Taking up the matter, the Nigeria Labour Congress is planning to embark on an indefinite strike action to compel the state governors to pay salaries owed civil servants.
For 6 months, resident doctors in Osun State have been on strike over unpaid salaries and allowances. Even civil servants in the state have a similar fate, as the government is only able to pay half salary for January and is still owing February and March. In neighboring Oyo State, it's been consultation after consultation between the government and the labor unions on an acceptable way forward. It's now agreed that all allocations to the state from the Federation account should be devoted to payment of outstanding salaries. But this agreement is coming just as the state union had given a 7-day ultimatum to the government over the matter. Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
I forwarded a letter to the government giving a 7-day ultimatum within which government should invite labor for negotiation and dialogue.
Everybody is aware of the Nigerian situation arising from the world crude oil collapse. And we are now saying, look, we've been getting 5 billion. Now we are getting, the last money we received was 2.2 billion.
Benue State appears to be worse hit. The state government is only able to pay salaries up till December 2015. This leaves behind a 3-month backlog from January to March 2016. This protest by staff of the State Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Industry at the premises of the biggest modern market in Makadi, the state capital, is to show dissatisfaction over the non-payment of salaries for the past 5 months. The main gate to the market is under lock and key, and these placard-carrying civil servants say they will not return home until the outstanding salaries are paid.
From November last year to date, no salaries. And as you know, we don't wait for subvention anywhere. We generate these millions upon millions of nairas here.
His Excellency has mentioned, and typical of him, he had taken steps to address that challenge. He had actually before then approved the money, their salary should be paid to them. And as I speak, that money has been released and they will be paid. In
Imo State, the government is entering into a partnership with a new generation bank to implement the bank verification number BVN policy and what it calls an automated management system that will enhance effectiveness in payment of salaries.
The automation process is aimed at sanitizing the state civil service database to ensure proper implementation of all policies affecting civil servants.
We have therefore urged all civil servants to cooperate with this committee and to make sure at the end of this exercise we have come up with a proper staff list and proper salary for our staff, for our workers.
In Kwara State, the government is bogged down by the challenge of ghost workers. State authorities have decided to go ahead with biometrics to ascertain those who should not be receiving salaries from the government.
It's very relevant to proper planning for Kwara State because it will give us a database that will enable us to prepare properly for the welfare of our civil servants, the economic development of the state, and also human capital development.
Although state authorities appear to be making effort to end this regime of non-payment of salaries, observers will say that unless they begin to work out alternative sources of revenue and depend less on federal allocation, the issue of non-payment of salaries may just continue to rear its ugly head.
Let's get some reaction now to the planned strike action by civil servants. My colleague Linda Kigbe is standing by in Abuja with the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige. Hi, Linda. Great to see you.
Hello, Amarachi. Good to see you and welcome to Abuja. To take a look at the labour situation and workers' salaries nationwide, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by Dr. Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labour and Employment. Dr. Ngige, thank you so much for joining us on the news at 10.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
I've watched the report and seen, the situation of unpaid salaries nationwide. Now, the Nigeria Labour Congress is threatening to go on strike over the issue of unpaid salaries. Are you ready for this?
Well, nationally, they can't go on strike against the federal government because the federal government is not owing any worker. Federal civil servants are paid. Federal public servants are all paid, even up to the allowances, because our personnel costs fully captured and we are executing that diligently. I'm aware that some state governments are not paying up. They are not paying up, and it's not something to cheer about. This is because the issue of wages, industrial relations, and trade disputes, and minimum wage in particular is on the exclusive federal list of the Constitution. Chapter 2, item 34 deals with that. So the National Assembly has done its own part after the tripartite negotiations that took place in 2010, actually 2009 to 2010. and the final Minimum Wage Act came into force, signed by President Jonathan on 24th of March 2011. State governments were part of that negotiation. Tripartite, government, state and federal, the unions on one side, and then the other employers called NECA. NECA is the umbrella association for them. That's so even the people in the private sector. People think it's only government that talk about wages. No. When we do minimum wage, it includes those who are also in the private sector. When we talk about equal work, equal pay, which is in the Constitution, under fundamental objectives of state principles and policy. If you go to section 17.3, G, A, B, C to G, it talks about wages, welfare of workers, and every other thing. So
but even state governments are even saying that it's even difficult for them to even pay this because of the economic downturn.
No, but they were part of the collective bargaining. Why we have industrial actions and stuff like that is when you breach the collective agreement.
So there's no excuse?
No, there's no excuse. The federal government is shedding off, cutting its coat according to the cloth we have. The state should do the same. You don't go do over-bloated workforce, most of them political appointees, special assistant on that, PA on that, special assistant bedroom and cooking and stuff like that, and you can pay.
Now, at the beginning of the regime, a salary bailout, was given by the federal government. Did you monitor, did the ministry monitor the states to see if the money was utilized properly?
That actually was done before I came on saddle. I am just 4 months, 28 days on this job. If I were to be minister before the bailout, the conditionalities for that bailout will have included a monitoring system.
So is it that there's no monitoring system?
The central bank has put in their own monitoring system because the whole arrangement was anchored on the central bank. There are certain papers you signed, there are certain conditionalities that are there, which they did with the central bank before the monies were released. But the information we get is that some of the funds are being diverted to other uses. They are being diverted to other uses, and it's not something to be happy about. But that doesn't mean that the workers can just suo moto go on strike. No, it's a collective arrangement. Before the workers can go on strike, there are modalities, there are stepwise formation to going on strike. They'll talk to me in my ministry, they'll write us. My Department of Trade Union Services and Industrial Relationship will arrest or even conciliate them first with the state government that are owing. It is when the conciliation fails that we can come into arbitration, and from arbitration they can go even to the industrial arbitration panel.
Thank you
so I'm
very
advising
much.
the state governments to shed off the excess things they have, and also look for internally generated revenues, not IGR of taxes. No, they should go back to agriculture.
Okay, Dr. Ngige, I'm going to have to cut you
farm
down
and earn money.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ngige, for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Amarachi.
Thanks a lot, Linda. Back to Lagos now. A solution might just have been made available to patients with orthopedic challenges. The Benue State University Teaching Hospital is offering knee and hip joint replacement surgeries. According to the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Okuga Malu, the facility has been successfully carrying out a series of orthopedic joint replacements in the last 4 years. When the News at 10 returns, our community report looks at mining potentials in Plateau State. Please join us again.